So you're thinking about moving to Portland, Oregon. You need to know these 7 things before you do that. Hey, welcome back to the Living in Vancouver and Camas, Washington YouTube channel. I'm your host, Hannah Dubyne, and I'm so glad you're here today because we're talking about, well, 7 reasons why you may not want to move to Portland, Oregon. I live and work over on the Washington side of the river in Vancouver, Camas, Washington area. I love it here, and I don't so much love the Portland area. So full warning, I am biased, you could say, but there are very clear reasons why I choose to live and work here. And I'm not making this video to make a quick buck. I'm making this video because it's honest and it's the truth. So here are my 7 reasons why you may want to reconsider moving to Portland. Number 1, Portland is so dirty and kind of gross. I remember seeing this on the news during COVID time when all the riots were happening down in the city, and it really portrayed the city in a bad light, but unfortunately it was all true, and a lot of those negative effects have lingered over the last couple years. The city's just not a welcoming place to be. I don't feel safe when I'm walking down there the few times that I cross the river. There's graffiti, there's tents, there's needles, there's homeless people everywhere, which is obviously a huge social tragedy, terrible for everyone involved, but there is not a lot of management of it going on. There's just good intentions, good vibes, but good intentions don't really do anything. So I don't want to live in a dirty city. Number 2, I kind of touched on this in the last point, but that is that Portland has a serious issue with homelessness and also crime. Every city has these types of issues. No city is 100% rid of them. So certainly there are homeless people that are hanging out in Vancouver, and we have progress to make on this side of the river as well. But the difference between the two is very pronounced. When you cross the river into Oregon, it's really bad. When you cross the river into Washington, you see, okay, it looks a lot better over here. And not to mention, crime has increased a lot in Portland. Homicides, a statistic that was going around for a while was that homicides went up by just an astronomical amount, and it's sad because no one wants to live in an unsafe place. Number 3, Portland is very political. Now, I'm not going to touch on whether I think those politics are good, bad, or somewhere in between. If you know me, you know that I work with all types of people. I have friends with all types of politics, and I love people for who they are as individuals. I like working and living with nice people. But in Portland, there's no room for differing opinions. Even if you agree with most of it and you disagree with maybe some big topic that's in the news right now, you will be ousted, you will be unwelcome, there is no dialogue, and you are canceled, which is not a way to live, in my opinion. We need to come together, right? Everyone talks about all this separation and how untogether America is these days. Well, it starts with us. So if we're kicking out the people with opposing views and we're not having that conversation, how are we getting any closer to a resolution? We're not. So over here on the Vancouver side, it's more of an even split. It is still more leaning blue. We are blue in Washington State, but it is closer to 50-50 red versus blue. I think that people get along, and I much more enjoy being in that environment. Number 4, Portland is way too dense. Even in the surrounding suburbs, homes can be very close together. I've heard a lot of times that people felt trapped in, the roads were small, there was too much development, things were too high. Over here in Clark County, we have about 25% of the population as there is in Portland Metro, about 1.8 million versus half a million. So things are more spread out, it's more suburban, there's more single family homes. That's more of my vibe, whereas for people that really want to be in that urban environment, walking, biking, close to everything, perhaps Portland is better for them. But I think in the long run, Vancouver, Washington, Clark County is going to be in a much better position. Number 5, the tax situation on this side of the river is way better. Not having state income tax is a huge luxury, and frankly, I think the state income tax dollars in Oregon are completely wasted. The state pretty much has nothing to show for it, in my opinion. They're 10% of income tax that they're taking from you. What more are you getting in return for that? Nothing. A lot of times I'll see our clients we're working with from Oregon or California who will save about 10% of their income just by moving here. What can you do with an extra 10% raise? A lot. You can get a nicer house, you can get a boat, you can go on vacation. So if you are a saver, this might be a good place for you to live. Number 6, traffic is way worse on the Portland side. When I go to the Portland side, which is not very often, there's always traffic somewhere and it takes forever. The freeway system is much more complicated there, so there's many more scenarios, there's a lot more people. Over here on the Washington side, we've got 4 big freeways. We've got 2 going north-south and 2 going east-west, and there's not really a lot of traffic besides rush hour, and even then, I managed to avoid pretty much all of that. So I think it is pretty amazing to live 10 to 15 minutes away from Portland International Airport, to live near all the stores I could ever need and not have barely any traffic. Number 7, my last point, and this one's a little bit on the petty side, you can't pump your own gas in Oregon. I think this is just so dumb. Oregon created this law so that they could make more jobs, and effectively they are wasting money, they're wasting time, they're wasting resources. Everyone can pump their own gas just fine. It is not a necessary job, and it is not contributing anything to the economy. There have been times where I've sat at gas stations for 20 plus minutes waiting for someone to pump my gas when it could have easily been 5, and it brought no benefit to me or really to anyone because that person was just making minimum wage. It's examples of things like that, laws like that that go on in Oregon that I think are so ridiculous, and I'm just not gonna take part in it. So those are my 7 reasons why I really don't like the Portland metro side and why I'm gonna continue to live here in Clark County, Vancouver, Camas, Washington area. I love it over here. If you love it over on the Portland side, I'm super happy for you. You know, stay over there, keep living over there. We're not hating on you individually. I'm just sharing my experiences and the experiences of many other clients that we've helped over the years. If you think that Clark County, Washington is going to be a good fit for you, please feel free to reach out to myself and my team at Dubyne Realty Group. Text us, DM us, email us. We'd love to hear from you. We are experts in Vancouver, Camas, Clark County, Washington, and we would love to serve you. Sign up for our weekend newsletter, Weekend Happenings with Hannah. We post the best 4 or 5 events happening every single weekend, community events that are happening here. It's awesome. It's super well loved, and we will look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.